Friends, today I will show you a special exercise with the help of which you can put your vertebrae in place. Here is the very thing that will happen now. In this way, we remove the functional block. There, where the vertebrae did not move, we restore their movement. I will show you today how to do the same thing yourself. Watch carefully. Good evening, dear friends. I greet you and also heartily congratulate you on the holiday. Because today, well, more precisely yesterday, you will be watching this video on Friday, but we are celebrating today. Today is one of the most important holidays in our life, Teacher's Day, because a teacher is the one who makes us who we are, isn't it? He teaches and he taught us everything. Enjoy your meal, everyone! And so, today's video, it will be related to those who have problems with learning, who have problems with attention, how to increase our memory with you, become smarter, not to upset our teachers, because they suffer. Their heart hurts because we are stupid with you. They want to teach us, and we don't understand anything with you. Therefore, we need to create conditions, fertile soil for our teachers to put new knowledge, new information here, so that from ourselves, from our soul, here, see, it doesn't even fit. Nothing can fit. Nothing fits. To increase our knowledge so that it stays in our head to go through life confidently with new knowledge. So, but for this, our brains must work well so that your brains work well, so that they know how your teacher is called. Well, from the first grade, whoever writes in the comments will receive a prize from this teacher. There is no memory. You don't even remember how your first husband was called. The functioning of our brain depends on how well it is supplied with blood. Because with age, various changes occur in the form of memory loss, attention. We can't concentrate on anything. We can't even read a book. We get distracted. We even forget some letters. To prevent this, we need to keep our vessels in the best possible condition. Two arterial systems nourish our brain. These are the vertebral and carotid arteries. Well, of course, there can be atherosclerotic plaques, but now we will eliminate with you the mechanical reasons why these vessels can be squeezed, compressed. And the first thing we need to find out is whether we have problems with the muscles that greatly affect the blood supply to our main brain. Inflow, outflow of blood. These are these sternocleidomastoid muscles. These ones. See? They are located here. They cover your carotid artery. If the muscle is thin, small, here's a bonus for women. If you put them in order, then the swelling will go away from the face. But even better, you will start to perceive better. Your brain will start to work better. The first sign, how can we determine whether there is a problem with it or not? The first sign is the asymmetry of the eyes. If you take a line like this, draw it across your face. If you do and it turns out that one of your eyes is not quite aligned, it's not enough, of course. You need to make it even more asymmetrical. Now let's do it. Here's one eye, as if it's here. Let's say it's here on this line. Let it be. And the second eye is here. Let's say above this line, it turned out to be here. Why did this happen? The sternocleidomastoid muscle also has a great influence on the position of the head. Here it is located. Here we have the clavicle. Here we have the sternum. Here are our clavicles. And this muscle, it attaches to both the sternum and the clavicle and goes here to the mastoid process of the temporal bone. It ends right here. We have it on both sides. If we have a weak muscle on one side, then our head starts to tilt towards the stronger muscle. This kind of tilt occurs. But at the same time, our jaw, the head changes its position. But the lower jaw remains in this position. and such a deformation of the head occurs. Have you ever seen people with their jaw shifted to one side? This is the reason for the clavicle shortness. The clavicle shortness is visible here. The muscle is weak on this side. On this side, it is always under tension. So, this negatively affects mood and memory. What's the solution? First, you need to find the weak muscle using this test, and then you can start training it in this way. This is the initial training for the sternoclavicular muscle. Lie down as you like without even getting up. Just as you are lying now, continue to lie down. Whoever hasn't laid down yet hasn't had time to lie on their back. Let's say my right eye was higher than my left, which means my right sternoclavicular muscle is weaker than the left one. I turn to the left and start lifting it up so that my right muscle is strained. I lifted it, relaxed, lifted, let it down. You can keep the angle until the end, if you can withstand such a load. And so you do 3 approaches 10 times each, train your lagging muscle. What do we do next? We've trained now the opposite muscle, which is better developed in you. You can stretch now. Can't you? You should. Turn your head. Put your hand on the very muscle. Here it is under the ear. See, its contours here. And just with your fingers up and down, do this movement towards the chest. This is one part you are relaxing this muscle. Stretching its fascia and towards the collarbone. Make such a movement. If you suddenly get confused, it turns out that it will cross you even more like this, but nothing scary. On the other side, you can also relax the muscle you just trained. It won't get worse, but it's better to train the resting muscle first. That is, if your head is in such a position, the eye is above me now on this side, it means I need to train this muscle more. On the contrary, it means on the contrary and stretch accordingly. But this is not all, friends, because there are also muscles in the back that hold our head. This is a powerful group of neck flexors here too, and we do not leave without attention. How to be with it. The same principle chain, friends, here either. You can look at the volume very often. Touch this very muscle. Very often on the right and left, they have a different volume. You can even ask someone to photograph from behind. These are your muscles. But in principle, you can also feel with your hands that one muscle may be larger than the other. But it often happens that the muscle that is smaller in volume is more tense. Why is it more tense? Because if we have a muscle, let's say this thick, the right and left have this thickness to support the weight of the head. For example, your head weighs about 33.069 pounds, but you have a few gold teeth, so the weight of your head is quite large, maybe even braces. And therefore, the right muscle needs to strain only, let's say, this part of its fibers to support the weight of the head, while the left one has to strain all of it. That is, all the fibers are constantly working, and the right one, only this part is working. Then it rests, this works, and they constantly change, so the muscle is softer, less tense than on the side where it is in a smaller volume. Here they often confuse a weak muscle and a muscle with increased tone. Don't confuse, be attentive, look at the volume of the muscle, not at the muscle tone, because it happens that the tone is more in the muscle with less volume. So, what we need to do now also requires training these lagging muscles. Here too, those who lay down, stay lying down, don't get up. Just turned onto your stomach accurately like this. And in this position, you raised your head forward, looked back, and hung up. Do such 10 to 15 rhythmic movements. If you're not tired, turn your head to one side right away. For example, I have, let's say, the left. Well, okay, I'll be looking at you. The right muscle is weak. I turn my head to the right and train my right muscle separately. This is an exercise. It's, well, for beginners. But if you don't feel any strain doing this, then you can already put more strain on your neck in some way. You tilt your head like this, like this. You put your hands on the back of your head. And first, you just put strain right away on both muscles. Look forward, down, forward, down. Here you can already adjust the pressure with your hands a little more, a little less tilt. And now how to put strain separately on the right, separately on the left muscle. Here you move your head a little to the side here. Take it here. You need your nose to be in line with your thigh. It was, see, in the middle. Now it turned out to be here. And in this position, you do the same movement. Look down, look forward, look down, look forward. Look at the other muscle here and make the movement here. Here, if I place my nose over my right thigh, my left will work more. If I do this, my right muscle will work more. If I place my nose here, then the load will be more on the left muscle. That's how it is, friends. Felt smarter already? A few minutes have passed. You've gained some wisdom. Let's secure all this with an exercise for neck mobility. And at the same time, our front and back muscles will work. Look, take a roller with you. Place it here on the nape. Squeeze it between the nape and the wall so it doesn't fall, and start turning. We make a movement back with one shoulder and forward with the other, and at the same time, our head tries to hold this roller. At the same time, there is an even movement between the vertebrae of the neck and the load on the long neck extensor. With this movement, we develop mobility with you, and at the same time, we give such a functional load on the muscles of the back surface of the neck. Now, in a similar way, we place this roller here on the forehead and squeeze it and do the same thing. These turns, and now our sternocleidomastoid muscles participate in the turns to one side to the other side. And now, friends, if, let's say, you manage to figure out that your left sternocleidomastoid muscle is weaker than the right one, what can you do? You place this roller in such a way. That is, you slightly turn your head to the right. Your left sternocleidomastoid muscle will now be under slight tension to hold this roller from falling. And you start to make the same turn, to one side and to the other side. The movement is alternating. This is what you do. And during this, you have activation of this muscle. It will learn to participate in the turn in the future. Because if the muscle did not work for a long time, your turn happened without its participation. This is one of the functions of the sternocleidomastoid muscle. To make a turn. This exercise is very important. Just for it. This is all the video you needed to watch. Because you can train the muscle for a long time, but you also need to make it participate in your movement. Well, accordingly, okay. If, for example, your left neck flexor is weaker than the right one, we also trained it with you. And now we will make it work in our turns as well. The same thing, we did this first with you. We turned the head, right? And now we slightly turned our head to the left. If we need the left sternocleidomastoid muscle with you, Now we hold the roller because of it. And we start to turn the head. Those vertebrae that did not move because this muscle did not work. Now they start to move. That is, with the help of this exercise, you can even remove functional blocks with those vertebrae where there was no movement for a long time. So, those who watched up to this point learned. So, friends, these and many other exercises for all parts of the body, legs, arms, head, spine, are also available, as you already know, for 2 days free access on the BUST website. We go by the link, everything is there. So, friends, we do exercises, write comments, congratulate each other on Teacher's Day, and see you in new broadcasts.